Hey, this is Rich Sparks, and hopefully you join me today. We got a lot of cool things we're going to go over. We're going to look a little bit at what kind of scams are going on affecting people. We're going to look at what's going on in the market. Will the real estate market drop? These are all things, and we appreciate you sticking around. Check it out. And we got a couple of very cool houses to show you. So let's get started, and welcome to Rich Sparks, Keller Williams Realty. Hey, we're going to try a call in too. If you want to call in, give it a shot. Can't hurt. All right. Welcome back. So we got, here again, I'm running the whole show here. It should be a little interesting. Got multiple things going on, but hope you and your family and everyone's doing fantastic. And we've got a lot of cool stuff to share with you. One of the things we're really going to be looking at is where's the real estate market going to go? What's been going on in the real estate market lately around the Metro Detroit area is we're having a lot of activity. It's probably a little shocking to some, but that's just what's been going on. But we're going to start off and take a look at the scams that have been going on, because these are hitting people. It doesn't matter what your age is. And we'll take a look at that, and hopefully you enjoy that. I just want to get it set up here so you can see everything. Have you ever been scammed? I know when I was younger, I've been scammed. People don't like to admit it, but this was a simple one where you're in a gas station, the guy comes up, hey, I'm trying to get to a job, da, da, da. Right. So, but there are some really big scams going on out there that I want to share with you. And let's get started. And you find out they've just been scammed. What do? No! Well, it's too late for that. The only thing you can do is to get educated, and that's why we're going to share with you today the 3 most common scams related to the coronavirus going on right now. You really want to check this out. Now, keep in mind, you want to stay to the end because number 3 could impact anyone, but we're going to share with you which shark on Shark Tank got bit for a $400,000 scam. And then we have a little bonus for you I'll tell you about in a minute. Hi, my name's Rich Sparks. I'm a senior real estate specialist, and my main job is looking after seniors and baby boomers through one of their major financial transactions. And I don't know about you, but when I find out that a senior was taken advantage of, it makes me want to. But of course, we can't do that for 2 reasons. One, you'd never find them. A lot of people think that these scam artists are teenagers in their basement, but they're not. They're huge mobs. They're huge conglomerates, more like this. So the best thing you can do is get educated. So here is tip number 1. With every tragedy, there's good-hearted people that want to help, but there's also scam artists that want to set up to steal your money. So a lot of times what they'll do is they'll give you an unsolicited call like this. Hello? What's that? Orphans for trapeze artists? That's terrible. I would love to help. Don't do it. If someone gives you an unsolicited request for a charitable organization, just don't do it. Hang up, call them back. Let's say it's for the Rotary Club. Hang up, call them back, call the Rotary Club direct to make sure they're actually the ones that are soliciting. Secondly, if you come across a website and you see this really nice website, always check the extension. Make sure that it's what it's supposed to be, .org versus .com. A lot of times they'll have a name, -org.com. That should be a quick notice to you that, hey, this is not legitimate. And third, you want to check out to make sure that your money is going to a good organization, but that money is going to be used. You don't want to give $1 and find out 90 cents of it went to administration fees. So a great place and where I always go is charitynavigator.org. Right below. Check out the organization to make sure that your hard-earned money is going actually to the people that needs it. Let's go to tip number 2. Buyer beware. Now keep in mind, buyer beware, there is a lot of very slick people out there that are putting up websites like this one. Now that doesn't look bad. Get your own private corona test kit for just $4.95 from the World Health Organization. Here again, if you notice, that was a .org versus a .gov. And secondly, what happens is this. You call and order that for $4.95 and they get your credit card information. Now the other thing that could happen is if you click onto that website to order, they can put a tracker to see what you're doing on your computer in hopes that in the next 7 days, maybe you go into your bank account. Then they have access to your bank account. So be very, very careful on that. Now, before we get to tip number 3, which shark do you think got bit? Put the answer below. Did anyone say Barbara? That's right, Barbara Cochran. She got bit for $400,000 scam. That was her bookkeeper that was approached, thought it was legit, started to wire the money, but luckily for Barbara, she got on it right away. The bank was able to stop that. We actually had that happen one time with the funds from a property we sold, but we were able to stop it in time. So be very, very careful on that. Now, if you like Barbara Corcoran, make sure you check out our next video where Barbara predicts what's going to happen to the real estate market due to the coronavirus, how it's going to change. I'm going to make a little commentary on it. Number 1 and number 2 I kind of agree with, but number 3, I think she has missed the plate. So you're going to want to check that out. Now, let's get to number 3. Everyone's waiting for their stimulus check. And what a lot of these scam artists are doing, they're reaching out, especially seniors. They're their most vulnerable. And they're saying things like, hey, if you'd like to expedite your stimulus check, just give us a $5 processing fee. And here again, it goes back to getting that credit card and running charges up. Now, the other thing they'll do is, hey, to get that stimulus check, we need your banking numbers. Now, we've been hearing on the news a lot that you need to go on and put your banking account for that direct deposit. So it sounds pretty legit. So make sure they're aware of that. Now, here's your bonus. When figuring out passwords, because I don't know about you, but my goodness, I got to have passwords for everything. So how do you remember them? What I do is I take a song title that I really like. I'm a big AC/DC fan. I'm an 80s kind of guy. That's when I grew up. So let's take Hell's Bells. And yes, you know that tune. Oh, flashback for a second. And what you do is you think of the letters and you change them to a numeric pattern. So let's say the L's, that's pretty simple. They look like 1s. That S kind of looks like a 5 to me. And the E's, for whatever reason, in my head, they look like 2s. So now this password is H21155B2115. That's a good password and easy to remember. I really, really hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you learned a lot. Please share it. Too many people are getting taken advantage of. My name's Rich Sparks. Don't forget to check out our next video, which is coming out, where Barbara and I look at the future. See if you agree with me or if you agree with her. It's Rich Sparks. Have a great day. Imagine this. Well, I hope you like those tips, and I'm real serious about make sure you share those out to folks because I hate to see anyone taking advantage of Want to shout out to TJ. Thanks for liking it. I appreciate it. Saw Kim and Jess on there. Appreciate you watching. So we're going to have a few really cool things we're going to cover. The main thing we're going to be focusing on is where is this real estate market's going, because that's really on the top ahead of everyone right now. So I'm going to par up because I want to share a couple minutes of a very cool property. We just listed this property. What's that, you say? There's properties being listed right now? Why, yes, there is. And we've developed a way where we can adhere to the governor's state of precaution, whatever you call it, and make sure our clients get, taken care of. So we had a couple go pending last week. And if you're curious about that, just give me a call anytime. Area code 248-214-4105. Heck, if you're curious and you have questions, you can call in right now. I will pull you up and we will chat. So right now, let's take a quick look at this property. It just came on the market. Let me get that ready for you. And it is a pretty cool property. If you're looking in the Madison Heights area, we're just going to look a minute or two at this. And if you're interested in more, reach out to us. We'll put you together with Brian, and he'll be able to help you. Hello, and welcome to 28036 Brush Street, located in Madison Heights, featuring Lamphere Schools. Now, this home does have a fenced yard, so if you have a pet you want to keep safe, you might want to consider this. It also features a newer 2-car garage in the backyard, perfect for the mechanic in your family, or possibly a den just to get away from the kids, who knows. Located near 12 Mile and John R. Let's go on inside. Now, one of the things I love about this house is the craftsman details and the rich hardwood flooring. How do you like that staircase? It's just very appealing. And I love... All right, that just gives you a little taste of that property. It's a very cool property. The kitchen's quite nice on it. So if you know anyone looking in that price point, $180, hey, have them give us a call. If you know of anyone that we can help, have any questions, give us a call. A lot of folks are just really wondering what's going to be happening with the real estate market. So we're going to cover a little bit of that, and I'm going to get this set up here. Oh, and this is a warning for all folks. This is very, very important. A few years back, the state of Michigan changed what was called the dowry rights. So you as an individual, 7-8 years ago, you marry a house, you get married, you buy a house, and let's say just the husband, because it works in this scenario, just the husband's name goes on title. That used to be fine because of what's called dowry rights, meaning that if something happened to the husband, the wife was automatically on. Well, they changed that, and that is no longer the case. So if something happens to the primary and it's husband, because if it was reversed, if the house was in the wife's name, it didn't matter if the husband was on or not. Dowry rights didn't come into play. But you have to be aware of this. We recently had someone reach out to us, come to find out they thought they were on title when in fact they weren't. So now they have to take that house through probate. So if you have any questions on it, give us a call. But this is something that people need to be aware of. We want to make sure that this doesn't happen to anyone else, and we can help you rectify it very inexpensively, and very easily. So here again, if you purchased your home and if the wife primarily, because it's dowry rights, but even if the husband's not on title, give us a call. We'll tell you how to rectify that to make sure that you're not stuck, because I hate to see someone pass away, leave a house for someone, and they have to go through probate. No one wants to go through probate. Ain't nobody got time for that. Hey, hope everyone's doing good. A few people are on. Jessica just posted. Thanks, Jess.
But let's take a look at what's going on in the market, because there's a few things. I'm going to be flipping back and forth here so you can see it. But really, there are four major questions that are on people's mind, and it all comes down to, should I purchase a home now? Should I wait? Will we be, is the housing market going to shoot down again? So, when is the economy going to recover? That's going to impact it. Are we going into a recession? Is this going to be like 2008 again? And what about all these job losses? Obviously, with all these job losses, the housing market will crash. Well, nothing that I just covered here is obvious. So let's start off by just taking a look at when is the economy going to recover? Now, keep in mind, this is not my research. This is not my data. What we've done is we've taken a look at a ton of different economists. What did they say? Because they're the experts. I'm not the expert on this. And then we look at it, we decipher it, and put it out for you, because gathering it from all these different resources. But right now, as everyone knows, the economy is on pause. Okay? But that's going to be short-lived. This is a real important one here. We're looking at major financial institutions, and most of them are calling for a rapid V-type recovery. So if you were looking to purchase stock during this downturn, we may have missed the boat. I don't know. But look at these folks, these economists, and right off the bat, Goldman Sachs tends to be on the very conservative side. But you have Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan. This is what they're looking at. Second quarter going down and then shooting back up. Now, historical analysis shows us that during pandemics, they're usually a V-shaped recovery. And that's been the case through most of the major pandemics. So they are taking some historical data on this and taking a look at, hey, what happened in the past? And let's apply that to today. So here's some of the ones. This is from the Harvard Business Review. Did you go to Harvard? I didn't. I went to Macomb Community College in Eastern Michigan and Wayne State and some others, but not Harvard. So that's okay. We can look at their reviews though, right? So let's look at a couple of these. And these all had V-shape recoveries in the economy. So the SARS epidemic in 1968, the Hong Kong flu. I don't know if we're allowed to call it the Hong Kong flu anymore. China. Anyway, the Asian flu, the Spanish flu, they all had recoveries that was in that V shape. So what that means is they had the initial downturn, but then the gradual recline coming back. So are we going into a recession? I think we're there. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure of all the nuances to consider it a recession, but I think it's so many periods of national growth being down. I think we've reached it. But a recession doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have a housing crisis. And this, here again, this is all on historical data. What's the old saying? If you fail to remember history, you're doomed to repeat it. So it's great that these folks are looking at it. Now, this coming up here is from Doug Bryan. He's the CFO of Minid Property Management. And it's got some cool stuff here. So with the exception of 2 recessions, and I've touched on this before, which a lot of folks don't realize this. The Great Recession in 2007, 2009. I like how they call it the Great Recession. The Gulf War recession in 1991. The rest of it has went pretty non-impactful on real estate. Matter of fact, so non-impactful that, and I've shown you this graph before, you can check it out if you don't believe me or call in and question. But at the end of the day, this is that historical data that we want to look at. We don't want people to freak out. You know, whenever you're purchasing a home, the timing's got to be right for you. Okay? So if it's not the right time, it's not the right time. But don't be afraid, because here's kind of what has happened. In 2008, the Great Depression. That was one that it truly impacted us. But in 2001, during that recession, we increased by 6.6%. 1991, we went down negative 1.9%. So that historical data really supports that we're probably not going to go back to a 2008 time period. And I know a lot of people are excited about that. They want to go back to where their jobs and everything are perfect, but the housing market goes down like crazy. There's too many things working against that. And primarily, this little bubble we're hitting with everything, according to Mark Fleming, chief economist at First America, a lot of us still bear the scars from the Great Recession, and they're kind of expecting that housing market to follow suit because that's what they're familiar with. So we're kind of in this shock period of this whole coronavirus. I think people are getting acclimated to it where it's not such a big shock anymore. I thought it was quite strange the last time I went to a grocery store, and I'm wearing a mask, that it didn't shock me that 80% of people are wearing masks. By the way, if you're not wearing a mask to the grocery store, I will be doing a video on how they work and why you probably should. You might be shocked about that. So stay tuned. I'll put it out once I finish it. The research I did on it was pretty insightful. I'll give you a little tip. So if the N95 mask eliminates things down to 0.3 microns, but the coronavirus is 0.1 microns, why does it work? You'll have to tune into that video when we get to it. Let's see, I got to go back. So here's some of the things that happened during the housing mortgage crash. So even when the S&P went down negative 51% back during the Great Recession, you can see how the home price depreciated through that time period, the first 3 years of it. It wasn't really to the fourth year that we experienced the huge drop. So kind of what 9/11 has in common with all of this is it's the shock and generated fear. And that's why we saw that little blip during 9/11. But here again, think about the things we become acclimated to as a people. So this whole thing with the virus going on, incredibly scary at first. And then once we get through this, the next time it's not going to be so scary. And then pretty soon it just becomes par for course. I think about Uber. Imagine a time 10, 15 years ago when you would take your 14-year-old daughter, put her in a car with a stranger, or give her a gift card so she could, on her own, call a stranger to give her a ride. It would be absolutely unheard of. Not in a million years. But now we do it all the time. I personally don't, but a lot of people do. It was the #1 gift in New York. Now, another thing we have to look at is this leading back up to 2008? But we have to look at the appreciation schedule that was leading up to the Great Recession compared to now. So if we look at the appreciation from 2014 to 2019, average is right around 4%, 3.6 to 4.8. We've had a couple years that we've had very steady growth, very solid growth, but nothing crazy and out of the ordinary. Back in 2000 to 2005, look at that. 12.5% growth, 11.4% growth. It was crazy accelerated. So that's something that we're just not in that same position. And this next one really hits at home. And a lot of people have been asking me on mortgages, you can't get a mortgage. Yeah, you can. You can still get a mortgage. You got to have good credit. give us a call. We have a couple of awesome lenders that will put you in contact. Whether you're, even if you're looking for a refinance, reach out to us. Let us know. We'll hook you up. But this graph here is amazing. So back during the great housing bubble, this graph shows basically how easy it was to get a mortgage. Look at that difference. During the housing market crash, in essence, the big requirement to get a mortgage back in that 2005 through 2007 period was if you were breathing air. And you might laugh, but it was absolutely true. I've been a realtor for a long time, so I was there during all that. Believe it or not, people could go in and do a stated income. You could be self-employed, go in and say, hey, I make $500,000 a year. And they'd check your credit score. If your credit score was good, they'd go, okie dokie, and approve you for that mortgage. I always wondered, did they sit around and go, this might be a bad idea? Well, of course not, because they were making money on selling these mortgages. Absolutely crazy. Now, another big difference between that time period and now is the months of inventory of homes for sale. And believe it or not, this is looking at a national average, but in our area, and I just checked it, we're at about 3.2. That means we have enough inventory for 3.2 months. And I say that just prior to all this going down. Okay, so it's much, much lower now. And here again, it goes back to supply and demand, right? Low supply, high demand, prices high. Vice versa, prices low, pretty equal, steady. We still have more buyers on the market than we do sellers. So we're still experiencing that slight growth up. Another thing which is pretty cool, and I really like this part, of all the homes in America have at least 50%. So 53.8% of all the homes in America have at least 50% equity. Okay, that is fantastic. People have stopped using their houses as ATMs. I applaud you. So I think that's fantastic. I was looking down here real quick. 26.7% of mortgaged homes have at least 50% equity. 37% of all homes are owned free and clear. Is it you? If it is, good job. Income required to purchase a home. Even though housing prices have went up a little bit from that time period back then, right before the Great Recession, it actually takes less of a person's income to purchase a home today than it did. What about all those job losses? Hey, I would be real curious what you think about all those job losses. Do you think that it will impact the housing market, or how it's going to impact the housing market? Why don't you give us a call? Let me see. I was going to try to throw that up pretty easy here. Let's see if I can do it real quick. Give me a call. Let me know what you think's going to happen due to all these job losses, and we can chat about it. But the research I did on it was kind of interesting. So if you want to reach out and give us a call right now, go ahead and dial 248-214-4105, 248-214-4105. But let's take a look at what they're saying about this. So this is kind of spooky. So down here, we have the unemployment level and then pretty much this wall. And it shot straight up. Not even enough to give it like a little bit of time here, right? So we had one of the lowest unemployments in history, and then it's just like boom, straight up. But a couple of things to keep in mind is where these are coming from. So you have a lot of the unemployment coming from the food service and drinking places, servers, bartenders, things of that nature. A lot are coming from accommodation industries, temporary help services, child daycare. And I'm not saying that's not horrible. It truly is. You know, I don't want to see anyone be unemployed. But in the long run, we're still going to hit that recovery. Remember this graph we looked at earlier? We're still going to hit that recovery, and a lot of those people will come back. Now, I haven't read this, but I do believe that a lot of companies will be looking at their employee base and go, you know what? We were able to do this with X amount of people. So we could see some changes there. And I also think we're going to see on the commercial market as far as real estate goes, and here again, I haven't read anything about this, but this is my personal opinion, that on the commercial side, we're going to see a decrease in the necessity of commercial space. I think a lot of companies are going to like the work-at-home economy. They're going to start setting up their business once they get some of the security features in place. You know, everyone's heard about Zoom and their security issues. Once those things come in place, we're going to see a decrease in need for commercial space. I can't see why a company, if they could work as efficiently from home and you could have less square footage, have less heating, less cooling, et cetera, it just makes good sense. So going back, this is what they're predicting for our recovery. And this is what they're predicting for our unemployment rate projections. So 2020, and it's supposed to be declining after the next quarter, 2021, 2022, 2023. And you see that straight decline of unemployment. So now the question comes and goes, okay, Rich, and here again, feel free to call in. I'd love to chat. Not sure how it works. Let's try it out. There's the number, 248-214-4105. Or if you have real estate questions or anything else or a good joke, feel free to call me. But now we have to look at it and say, okay, Rich, so unemployment, we understand it's going to be high and it's going to start decreasing over the next couple of years. And we're going to see that decline coming. But does unemployment and the housing market directly correlate? Because if something doesn't directly correlate, and here again, it's taking historical data. So let's take a look at this. And I was really shocked at this one myself. So you can see as the unemployment, which is the line here, okay, and the blue is existing home sales, and this is between 1989 and 2019, but you can see it really doesn't correlate. That's the crazy thing. So if you look at number 2, around 2000, unemployment was up to 6%, but the housing market was increasing like crazy. Now, right around this time period here, number 3, because you can look at number 3, and if you're looking at number 3 and you're like, aha, unemployment was high and home sales was down. And you're probably thinking, explain that, Rich. Well, let me try. So basically what happened then, and that was right around the Great Recession, which it really was. But what happened is they made the mortgage criteria crazy hard. So you could have been rocking a 730 mortgage rate or credit rating, be in awesome shape, and still might not qualify for that mortgage. So it wasn't just a matter of unemployment. It was a matter of their unearned assets, houses that they had on the book, because a house to a bank is nothing more than an asset. So it was unearning assets. Fell so bad that they were just, nope, we're not giving out any more money. Okay? So cash buyers had a great time. If you had awesome credit back then, you could still get a loan, but you were jumping through hoops. So let's look at that chart again. So that's kind of how I explain number 3, because I lived through that time and I was in the industry during that time. That's one nice thing about dealing with me. Been around a long time. But if you look at number 4, it just, once they started loosening that credit again, man, home sales just went back up. So overall, historically speaking, what it tells me is that unemployment and house sales don't necessarily correlate. And, one of the articles I read is something to keep in mind. If 6% of the people are unemployed, 94% are employed. So it comes right down to it. And I've got some more charts. But at the end of the day, I think our housing market is going to continue on. Will it accelerate at the same pace? No. I still think we're going to see 3 to 4% increases in home values over the next few years. I'm not expecting a huge dip here. Here again, people have equity. Their debt to earning ratios are better. It's just so much easier to take care of it. It's like getting stranded in the ocean. In 2008, all they had was, like a rubber ducky to hold on to, because we were spending money like crazy. And, I don't know if you remember, but back then I remember everyone saying, the smart man uses other people's money. And boy, did we. Where now we have equity, we have greater savings, our debt to earning ratios are much better. So I just don't think we're going to see it. I hope we don't. I want everyone to do really good. But I do want you to check out this very, very cool house. And let me pull this up here. And I think you're really going to like this one. If you're looking to move into Macomb Township and you want a house that is totally decked out, absolutely gorgeous, this might be your house. If you have questions on it, reach out to us and I'll connect you with the team member to take care of you. Hope you enjoy. Let me tell you about 49838 Shenandoah Drive in Macomb, Michigan. You're going to love this house. You're going to want to stick around through the whole video. Trust me, there's nothing in this video you want to miss. This is truly one great home with over 2,000 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and an office and first floor laundry. You can't miss out. Now, let's go ahead and check out the inside. There is a ton of smart devices through here. Not only do you have a smart garage door, but a Nest doorbell. They've really put technology to work for you in this house. This property is priced at $380,000. They have some of the top-ranked schools in the Metro Detroit area, so if you have kids, you can't miss out on this. Cathedral ceilings, light, airy, beautiful volume. Hey, by the way, if you do me a favor, if you could share this out, who knows, maybe someone else would really like to see this property. Now wait till we go in the kitchen. And if you like this kitchen, do me a favor, click below and click the like button, because I'm telling you, it's gorgeous. Quartz countertops throughout. Updated cabinetry, updated flooring, all stainless steel appliances, built-ins. You normally do not get this in this price point. This is truly a beautiful home. What did you think about this? Place is absolutely beautiful. If you want to see the rest of the home, reach out to us. We will be putting this house out, and if you search around Facebook, you can see the full video. But absolutely a gorgeous home. It is one of my favorites that's been around for a while. I'm going to leave you with this part real quick here. What a great saying. Eat, drink, and be thankful. And I think during this time, I become very thankful. I miss a lot of our friends, miss hanging out with you folks, miss my coworkers. You know, Zoom meetings are only so good, right? And tell me below if you think people are doing way too many Zoom meetings. I mean, oh my gosh, every time I turn around, it's like, hey, you're invited to a Zoom meeting. Hey, you're invited to a Zoom meeting. I hope Zoom takes off. I picked up a little bit of its stock, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Let's see. And then a lot of people, you know, we're very, very lucky and we have it quite nice. I'm trying to set this video up for you. Okay. So when you think it's bad and you look around and you're sad, remember that we have it better than most. So let's take a look at these cities that get to host new people or new critters. And how would you like this? Imagine coming home. Now, how do you... that would be a heck of a commute. Pretty soon, it's going to look crazy if this continues on. All kinds of craziness going out. If you get a chance, if you haven't looked online, you can look at the monkeys of Thailand. Incredible. Mountain lions coming down. Now, someone had put out there that over in Russia, Putin was putting out lions, and that was all fake. But there is some really crazy stuff going on. I'm going to see if I can find this one thing here. I mean, bears coming down. Coyotes. I don't know if you've heard, but there's a lot of coyotes that's coming to the Metro Detroit area. My sister saw one while she was taking a walk with her husband over in Madison Heights. If you come across a coyote, they are, you know, it's not Wile-E, so they're not friendly. So don't approach it. Just don't do it. Alligators coming out in Florida, rats in New Orleans, pigs in Paris. But these guys are the ones that are just crazy, in my opinion. Let's take a look at this. And once again, if you're ever feeling sad, imagine looking out your window of where you live, and this is what you see. Is that crazy? Monkeys having gang fights out in front of your house. Now, the Thai government, and it was kind of funny, you got to love Thailand. Their government was, here's what we suggest you do. Don't look at them directly in the eyes. Oh, my goodness. And I will leave you with a little story because people think monkeys are so cute. I went to college in Japan, went to an island called Monkey Island. And they tell you, you know, here I was a gaijin, a foreigner, but they tell you, listen, bring no food. Well, there was a little Japanese girl. She was probably around 15, 16. We get off the boat and we start walking, and there's monkeys everywhere. And as we're walking, I know some monkeys aren't paying so much attention to me, but they start getting closer and closer and closer to this young lady. And out of nowhere, one of the monkeys had enough gumption to reach up, grab her backpack, and yank it. It didn't come off her. Pulled her to the ground and started pulling her and the backpack along the ground. And it was because she had food in that backpack. So we've got it tough here. You know, you might not have HBO. I don't know. But keep positive, keep happy, and be glad that you're not living in Monkeyville. This is Rich Sparks. Thank you so much for joining me. I just appreciate it. If there's anything we can do to help, give us a call at area code 248-214-4105 or reach out to us at rich@richsparks.com. And if you see any wild animals out by your house, let us know. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.